It's so cool. Look at all this fun we're having. Stand up taller, Alex. I remember my first podcast. Maybe turn your camera down just a little bit.
I'm pressing the software button down.
He's getting it. Okay.
You're buying me lunch, Alex.
Here, this is it. I got you.
Oh yeah, I thought this was going to be it. The old apple from the fridge. Alex is a podcaster.
Yeah, let's hold on, slow down.
Alex, we never fight. We should have a fight on show here. This would be cool.
Oh gosh,
that's how you get the clicks.
Oh man,
yeah, clickbait.
Mac versus PC was one, but I think you just gave up.
Thanks. Hello, welcome to Financial Detox, the podcast. I'm Jason Labrum, your host, with
Alex Klingensmith.
Hey, you guys, I wish you could have been here for the start of this show. We just spent the last 40 minutes helping Alex get a mic set up. It was unprecedented, something
he looks
special.
Beautiful.
I mean, he looks so good. And we got the mics and the cameras because we are trying to upgrade. We want to bring you the best quality, not only audio, but visually as well. It's why we have these radically expensive but wonderful people on the line with us. We have producer Brian and Shayna, and we even have our marketing director Christy on the call. So it's
a full operation.
I mean, this is a serious production here. This is big time. And Alex is
almost as serious
here.
as taxes.
And that's what we're going to do. We're going to be brief today. We're going to be short and succinct because what we're experiencing with a wealth management firm called IDA and Financial Detox, our consumer education brand, where we try and help people make really good financial decisions and avoid toxic advice, manage their wealth for maximum impact. What we're finding with this combined wealth management and tax firm, we did about 600 returns? Alex, how many returns did you do?
I love that you always round it up.
Is it up?
Yeah, sure, 600.
Okay, call it 550. I don't know what the number is. Somewhere between 500 and 600
for sure.
Tax returns. And we do tax returns, but more importantly, we do tax planning. And what we're finding as more of our wealth management clients that their CPA, unfortunately, you hear the passed away story, you hear the retired story, whatever the story is, their CPA is gone. So they say, hey, don't you guys do this as well? We say, yeah, sure. Come on in. And what we are finding through the people who don't work with our tax team is that they try and do their planning for 2024 in 2025 when it's time to report your taxes.
Too late.
And it is too late, right? I mean, so this is a problem that I think is persistent across lots of business owners because business owners are busy running their business and doing their things, and executives the same and professionals the same. And what has to happen, and we've, with the great help of Christy on our team, has helped us put together kind of 7 really basic tips that you can use to plan for this year. So for last year, 2024, it's tax day. That's why we're doing this today, right?
Yeah.
It's almost tax day.
5 days away.
5 days from tax day. So this is on our mind. I think this is probably on a lot of people's mind. In fact, I'll give you a specific story. Alex, check this one out.
Yeah.
I was on a call. I was a couple minutes late getting on this, but I was on a call with a prospective client. And the prospective client who reached out to me after lots of years, haven't seen him in a while, great human being, awesome wife, awesome people. And he said, hey, we want to use your firm. I need your help. I said,
cool.
Great. So we set up the call. Yeah, it's really cool. I love getting those. It's humbling and exciting at the same time. And he was a perfect example. It's like an ideal type of client. Hey, I got stuff all over. His CPA, unfortunately, did pass away. And the preparer who worked for him is now kind of helping doing the tax returns. But he's like, we don't do any tax planning. And I looked at your website and saw that you guys do tax planning. Mm-hmm. And he goes, he didn't know we did tax prep too. So I saw, yeah, we do the planning, but we also do the prep. And he's like, yeah, my wife did this last year and made certain money, and she could have set up a plan. They could have literally paid I would say probably $50,000 to $100,000 less in taxes had they done just a couple of these steps. So we're going to get into it. Let's
get
do
into it. I want to tell a quick story too, because I sit about 10 to 15 feet away from our tax team that's here in Carlsbad.
Yes.
That just did those several hundred returns. And there's several hundred that are on extension as well. And what I'm seeing, even though we have worked for the past 4 or 5 years, right, Jason, integrating a tax practice that was very conventional in the way they did things, which is historian, like looking back only, not so much at this year or next year even the integration process, like I see why it's happening, because I see it and I hear the conversations and overhear the meetings they're having with clients and see some of the emails I'm copied on. And then the reason it is this way is not because the CPAs are not trying to do a good job. They're trying really hard to help their clients. All CPAs, I believe that. Well, almost all CPAs probably. But even our people, I think it's because it's such a small amount of time that so much has to happen.
Yeah.
And so if you have a deadline of April 15th to file your tax returns and or file an extension and pay your estimated quarterlies if you are going to owe money, then what ends up happening is you're in a kind of like a line at Disneyland. and maybe you get the fast pass, maybe you don't. But either way, everyone's in line. And only so many people can get through it and have a good experience. And so if you have 2 months or 3 months to get all your information, gather all this information, has to be the right information. You can't miss a form. That would really, imagine that.
Yep.
And these poor CPAs are under this crunch. And so the tax planning part of things doesn't happen because they don't have time to do it. Or maybe they have time, maybe they should do it later in the year like you're talking about. But most people don't want to think about this until it's a mandatory deadline time, right? And so my heart does go out to CPAs right now, especially 5 days from the first deadline. This is the first time we've had a real deadline since COVID, right? It's been moving around, a moving target, and it's back to normal deadline time, and it's a difficult thing. So it's more of like I'm going to stop telling you my story in just 1 second here. It's like the healthcare system. You have to be your own advocate as a client that has a CPA or a tax preparer. You almost have to advocate for yourself. Like they'll send you your return, and you shouldn't just say great and have no questions. You should say, well, hold on, before we file, is there anything we can do here to improve this year or next year? I get that last year is too late.
Yep. Let's go through this list here. We're going to talk about 7 quick things. We're going to be specific and brief. Always click below and you can download these 7 tips. You can subscribe and like our show. We love if you do that. Please support us and help by giving us comments. And you can always reach out to us as well by going to financialdetox.com. You can send an email to jason@financialdetox.com. We'd love to hear from you, get your input, ideas for shows, anything you want to hear. All right, number 1, let's talk about tax loss harvesting. Alex, this is a big one.
Let's do it.
And a big one that people get wrong, right? When, Alex, do most people do tax loss harvesting?
I would say they don't, first of all. And if they do, it might be just once a year, and it might be at the end of the year, or it might be quarterly, regardless of what's going on in the markets. Those are my 3 kind of potential answers.
I think you're right on all 3 of these. So let's talk about why that's wrong. Here's the deal. If you wait till the end of the year to do tax loss harvesting, if you wait till the end of the year, what if the market was down 15% like it was over the last 30 days?
Yeah.
The market was down 15, even 20%. Maybe you had positions that were down significantly or down. You could have tax loss harvested now, bought a secondary or tertiary position, something that's similar, not exactly the same per the IRS, but similar. You have same portfolio characteristics, similar portfolio, but you have now harvested that loss, and then you can you get to capture that loss. Whereas if you waited till the end of the year and the market recovered like it did yesterday, and now it's back down, I think today still, but you have to harvest losses when the opportunity presents itself, not wait until the end of the year. Because the end of the year, those opportunities may present themselves and then they go away.
That's
one of the things we do at IDA Wealth is we're scanning client portfolios. I would say daily. I think that's probably an exaggeration. I think it's a minimum weekly for a certain percentage or dollar amount that there's a loss in any position in that client's account. We take it right when we have that loss. And by doing that, we're able to put money in that client's pocket. Let me give you an example. Let's say you had a $10,000 loss in a position and you're in the highest tax rates. So we'll say between federal and state tax rates, you're at a 40% tax bracket. If we harvest a 10% loss against other income, you get a $10,000 loss. Sorry, I said 10%, I think. But if you harvest a $10,000 loss, you now basically got a coupon for your tax return that you get to turn in that saves you $4,000. It's like a $4,000 discount on your taxes.
Yep. And if you're diversified like you should be, there's going to be other things in that portfolio that are going to trigger gains later that year as well. So it's basically a really nice hedge against future potential increases that year, right? And future years
well
too.
said. And future is the key there, right, Alex? Because if you take losses this year, but you don't have other gains you can only write off $3,000. But all those losses sit in a bucket and they carry forward for next year. Eventually, you're going to have gains if you're managing your portfolio correctly, which is something that's our step 2, right? In this, we're talking about today. Step 2 is rebalancing. We have a proprietary algorithmic rebalancing strategy called tolerance band rebalancing. So there are times, a lot of our clients say, what have we been doing during all this volatility? This is not a volatility conversation, this is a tax conversation, but we will say we've already done it. And by that, what we're saying is we've already tax loss harvested, or we've already trimmed profits out of something that was really frothy or doing really well. That's rebalancing. So that rebalancing should also be happening on an ongoing basis, not just once a quarter, and certainly not carte blanche where you just rebalance everything, because that creates lots of unnecessary tax and it creates lots of unnecessary trading costs and can actually hurt your portfolio. But when done correctly, what rebalancing doesn't necessarily create more returns over a long time. But what it does do is it reduces your risk because you trim out of something that grows a lot and does well. Let's do a simple example, Alex.
Okay.
Let's say you take a classic 50-50 portfolio. Half of my portfolio stocks, half is bonds. Over time, stocks and the expected return on those stocks is higher than the expected return on bonds. So naturally, your portfolio the stock portion would grow to be a higher percentage. Maybe a couple of years it's 60-40. Now it's 70-30. Now it's 80-20. That may be good, but it's probably a much more volatile and risky portfolio than you originally intended for if you're not rebalancing on a fairly regular basis. Your portfolio is going to get out of whack and you're going to probably end up taking typically too much risk or too much volatility.
Not just that, but when you think about what ends up happening, we had a really good conversation, I think just yesterday, with a really, really intelligent, asset management partner, a friend of ours, right? Mm-hmm. And when you look at that, you say, okay, well, if you buy and hold and you just leave it, eventually you're going to be in a tax trap also if you're in a non-retirement account, because you're going to have gains in those stocks. And then what? Then one day you need that money for income or to buy a house or to buy a business or something. And you're going to have to realize all those gains all at once. And if you're rebalancing along the way, not only is it a good thing to just maintain your target rate of return, but it also gives you a lot more flexibility in terms of what lots and what gains are in there later on, right?
Really good point. Yep. So that's a big one. Step 2, rebalancing. And specifically, there are very unsophisticated strategies for rebalancing that can hurt you from a tax perspective. And there are strategies that can help you. We recommend you reach out to us and we'll help you derive and build the right strategy. Third one, maxing out tax-deferred accounts.
Yeah.
This is really important. A lot of people aren't doing it, maxing out tax-deferred accounts. But then there's also the counter to that. The same end point is that maybe you should be maxing out your non-tax-deferred accounts, AKA a Roth 401k, which would cost you to pay more tax today, but will highly likely help you pay a lot less tax in the long run by paying the tax today and not paying it later. Because when your tax deferred accounts grow, they're growing just like the title, tax deferred, tax deferred, tax deferred. When you take that money out, you now have to pay tax on it. So it's grown to this big number. Now you're going to pay a lot of tax when you take it out. Conversely, in most people's Roth or most people's 401k, you probably have an option to contribute to the Roth 401k, which is where you say, I'm going to pay the tax today, but I'm going to have tax-free withdrawals later. And that may be a really good decision, should be put in your financial plan, should be stress tested to see, given your current income and your current situation, how your next 3, 5, 10 years look.
You could even throw in like a 529 and an HSA. You can do all kinds of thoughts on this, right? And I think that's a call to action in this. And I know we have one at the end, but a reason to sit down with a really, really good financial planner to model different scenarios and see what might be the most tax efficient outcome depending on where you decide to save money.
Well said. Well said. Yeah, there's scenarios here that you've got to run. You've got to stress test basically for your own personal situation because everybody's situation is different. That was number 3. We're jamming today. Number 4, what about charitable giving strategy? Donating appreciated stock instead of cash and or using a donor advised fund. And we won't get into a lot of details on this, but I'll give you a personal example. For me, like I've always donated to a couple charities specifically for a decade or more. And I was giving cash. And I literally went to teach a class to this specific nonprofit, to their members and organization contributors. And in the class, I'm teaching about don't give cash, give appreciated stock. And I literally was like, wait, I'm the cobbler's kids with, or I'm the cobbler with kids have no shoes or whatever. I'm not following my own advice. I changed it at that point and started giving appreciated stock. I was able to up my donation by 30% and it literally cost me the same.
Yeah.
So the only difference was Uncle Sam got less, but my charity got more, cost me the same. A really simple, but
and RMDs are another good example. If you're of RMD age, which you're not even close, Jason, right? You're
much younger closer, that, man. Come on. Is that a dig? I think that's a good one. That was a dig.
If you're doing if you're taking RMDs and you're charitably inclined, there's a much more tax efficient way to give money rather than out of your bank account.
Yeah, like give it out of the IRA straight to the charity, and now you don't have to pay tax on that money. So
you got at least 5-10 years, right, Jason? I mean,
yeah, at least a couple. Thanks, Alex. You already owe me lunch, dude, because it took forever to set up your camera.
I'm feeling bad about my microphone today.
So this your own insecurity is projecting onto me.
Number 4. No,
you guys look great.
Alex, we never fight. We should have a fight on show here. This would be cool.
Oh gosh,
that's how you get the clicks.
Oh man,
yeah, clickbait.
All right, we got to come up with a real thing to fight about.
Start get mad at each other.
Mac versus PC was one, but I think you just gave up.
Thanks. All right. So, hey, one more quick story on this one. Oh. So I had a client, we were talking about their estate plan, and they were like, at death, I'm going to give $1 million to this particular charity. And this person's in a high income tax bracket, earning lots of money right now. And I said, well, why are we waiting till death? Like, what if we took that money today, put it into a donor advised fund, which you don't have to give the money away this year, next year. You can give it away whenever you want once it goes into a donor advised fund. It's like a charitable holding tank where you get to contribute the money today, but then give it away at your leisure. You can even set this up so it's a multi-generational philanthropic family values mission to give money away with your family over a long period of time. But you get the tax deduction today. So he was able to put this $1 million in today that he could afford and he could do it and got the tax deduction. It saved him almost $400,000 on his taxes today, literally by front running that today instead of later. So I ran an analysis for him showing what did that extra $400,000, what is that going to do for you over your life? That $400,000 over his life conservatively invested became $3.5 million. The decision to make that contribution to the donor advised fund today was a $3.5 million decision. It was a beautiful thing. So This is tax planning that you have to do in the year or even several years in advance. You cannot wait until April, like we are today, April 10th, people trying to do tax planning for 2024. Here we are in 2025. It does not work. 2025 tax planning happens in 2025 at the very latest. Maybe 2025 tax planning happens in 24, 23, 20, 2015, whatever. So really important stuff to get a hold of. And we love helping people with this. Again, with our tax team and wealth management team combined, we can have a great impact for you. Let's hit the next one, Alex. Do you have them up or do you want me to hit it?
Is it review deductions and credits?
There you go. Let's go.
I think there's a whole thing there, but I think the important thing there is having a really good relationship again and being your own advocate to your tax professional, CPA, enrolled agent, tax preparer. It can be something where you have to just ask, can you please go over this with me? Because if you don't, what I've seen and is that you'll just get a tax return and you'll just be asked to sign it and that'll be it. But if you actually go over it with somebody who's an expert in that field, and you say, hey, look, I'm just trying to look for ways to mitigate my tax, exposure. Can you help educate me on ways to do that? These are some nice questions. But notice that anyone can ask those questions. You don't have to be a genius at taxes. But if you don't advocate your own position, then you will simply just be another person in that line I was mentioning earlier that they're just getting to, because it's 2.5 months. You're in line. So when it's your time, ask questions.
It's a really good point. And I think you could say, use this list by clicking below. You can download the 7 steps that we're talking about today. These 7 items, there's probably 1 or 2 of these you're not doing. I can tell you personally, I have a home office. It's a dedicated home office space. It's for work. It's a home office space. I didn't deduct it last year. And I was looking at my tax liability this year going, why am I not? I looked at my return. Why did I miss that? I missed that last year, right? So I added it in this year because I even missed that part of planning. These are simple ones, but if you have a home office space that's dedicated for work, that is a home office, you can deduct that even if you also have a work office space. I have both. That's why we overlooked it. We weren't thinking about it. So there's real opportunity there.
And they change every year a little bit too. So it's important to, again, be with somebody who's current and forward-looking in the way that they handle things.
Yeah, I think, and we have a list of like the 25 things that you should be considering that are most common, and we have often that works to.
It's a bad word here because we tried to come up with a better word, but we ended up just keeping it. It's the tax organizer, right, Jason?
Yeah.
So we have a tax organizer that most clients hate. So Eva Budnick, our head of tax, created a video. And she
a bunch of good videos.
Yeah.
Well, she's like a video star.
She is much better at this than we are. No, but what she did, I thought was really cool is she said, look, clients or whoever is interested in hiring us, watch this video. And you don't have to fill the tax organizer out, but use it as a guide to communicate with us. It's kind of like to jog your memory because it's like 4 or 5 pages long, the tax organizer, checklists of all different things that could potentially be deductible.
Yep.
But it's a really good conversation starter for the tax team and our client base to then remind you, Jason, for example, one of those things is do you have a home office? Oh, I do. I should probably bring that up in my meeting with the tax team.
Yep, exactly. I think we're on 6, and 6 is, we talked about it a little bit, but the Roth conversions in lower income years. There's a couple strategies in this. Not only Roth contributions is what we talked about before as a potential tax saving strategy. Even though you pay more taxes this year, it could ultimately, and most likely, will lower your tax liability in the long run. But also talking about Roth conversions. So when markets are down, we were down 20% a few days ago with a 10% rally yesterday, now down a few percent today. When the market is down, that is a great time to convert money from an IRA to a Roth, because that conversion now happens and you pay tax on the lower amount because there's less money there. And then it goes into the tax-free Roth, and now it grows or recovers or rebounds in that tax-free account. So that is something that no brainer. Also, RMDs, there's a lot of different strategies for taking money out or converting money.
Like when to do a conversion and when
Exactly.
when it makes the most sense from a tax perspective, probability of success kind of stuff. Yeah.
One more, and we put in here quarterly tax checkups. I kind of like the semi-annual better. I think quarterly might be a lot, but a tax checkup is tax planning.
Yeah.
So it's semi-annual. I'm going to change it up, and then we'll doctor it. But on our steps, it's semi-annual tax planning. I think one should happen right after tax season because CPAs aren't going to do tax planning for you January through April, but then they're going to typically take a break. They're going to typically take a break from April. But starting in May, I think you have a summer tax planning strategy, and then you have another tax planning strategy towards the end of the year, maybe in October or November. That's the right way to do this because you're saying, hey, I'm in this year. It's 2025. I expect that I'm going to make blank amount. I have a home office. I bought a new car. My kids can come work for me. I should hire my kids. Those planning strategies, that's what will kick off you paying less in taxes, really. Sorry, I stumbled for words.
It might also depend too, because when I think about business owners, especially people that end up paying tax and estimated quarterlies and things like this, you might even want to just ask the tax person, again, that relationship advocate.
Yeah.
It's a theme I'm having now that I'm sitting 20 feet away from this and watching it unfold this tax season. Yeah. The people that advocate more, even to our tax team, are going to get more more and better advice. Like maybe you could do this and prepare yourself for what you're going to owe this year and maybe even owe next year. So depending on your situation and how much is going on and that's going to generate tax in your life, it might end up being quarterly for 1 year at a time, depending. Like you, Jason, have had some pretty interesting things happen in your career as a business owner. Yeah. Some years are like normal. And then some years are like, whoa, I need to check in like 2 or 3 times this year.
Quarterly is not bad. You're paying your estimates and then you're just recapping the list of things I can do. So I think that between these 7 steps, I believe that if you look through these, you use somebody like our team to help you at the Financial Detox / IDA Wealth team. I believe there's almost no probability you're not going to put more money in your pocket by planning and getting proactive on this stuff. But again, I think the crux of this show is it's about tax day. We want to help you exercise your constitutional right to pay the least amount of tax possible. There's a lot of ways to do that. You're not cheating the tax code. You're not cheating the government. You are doing what you are allowed to using the law and the rules to pay the least amount of tax you have to possibly pay. And there's some really impactful ways to do it. So we hope you like this show and download these 7 steps by clicking down below. Check us out on future shows at Financial Detox and the IDA Wealth YouTube, Spotify, Instagram. I think it's everywhere, right? Is it everywhere? It's everywhere. Christy says it's everywhere. Oh, there you go. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm Jason Labrum. It's Financial Detox. Alex Klingensmith with me in studio. Thanks, Alex.
Thank you.
We'll do it again next week.
All right.